All right, here we go. Session four, the wrap up, the last one of these. And I really wanted to end with okay, we took a look at you. We took a look at what your people need, what you want for your people. Then we took a look at what are your beliefs. And now, how do we expand that so that it just bleeds into every other area of your life? How can you duplicate your momentum? I'm going to go ahead and just get rocking here. Last time with Fuel the Flame, we talked about your belief, and I asked you or challenged you to post your belief where you'll see it daily and use one intentional word or phrase each day. Now, for me, I recognized, and this is just a personal one, that last week I was really not trusting a lot of people around me. And so they could feel it. I could feel it. A woman that works for me, I could tell she could feel it. There's just, I'm like holding back and I'm really holding on. And so my intentional word was like, or phrase was just like, I can trust others. Like that was it. I can trust others. And so when my son asked to go do something, I was like, yep, I trust you can do that. When my daughter was like, hey, I'm going to go do this thing with my friend, I was like, great, I trust that you will let me know if you leave or go anywhere else. To the person that I work with and she does some work for me, I was like, I trust that you got this. Like you got these posts and things like that. And so that was really for me. What's one win for you if you want to drop it in the chat? What's one win since last week? I know it's only been 5 days, but what is something that maybe you've seen switch or you've just had a little win yourself? Like you did post this out to yourself or put it somewhere where you can see it. But let me know what one of your wins are because we want to make sure that you are feeling those wins. I recently went through some life coaching and it was amazing how frustrated I would get when my life coach would ask me, what's one of your wins? And I would be like, who cares? Move on. Let's talk about the challenges this week. Let's talk about what I have coming up. Let me just focus on what I need to do. I don't need to spend time talking about my wins. We got to get moving. We got to get moving. We got to get moving. And she was just like, Anne, take a breath. If we don't celebrate your wins, then your brain doesn't even think you're winning at all. She was like, you need to take a breath. You need to every single day start with how did you win yesterday? How did you win last night? If you go into an afternoon, what did you win doing this morning? So that you can be celebrating yourself as you go so it doesn't feel so overwhelming, like I'm just not getting to where I need to get. And I was like, okay, fine. Here are my wins. She ended up trolling me on social media. Here's a great life coach tip. She ended up trolling me on social media and making a list herself so that when I came to our sessions and she said, okay, Anne, what are your wins? And I would be like, I don't know if I had any. She would be like, well, on Tuesday you posted that you did this thing, and on Wednesday you went for a walk in the morning. And she was just like, nope, you did these things. So stop saying you're not winning. So for those of you in the chat, oh, I love it. Kylie wrote, my word is believe. And we are seeing some serious momentum with social media. Yes. And trademark registered after a year of waiting. I love that. I hate how long it takes, but I love that it's here. And you took that action a long time ago. And if you would have waited, we'd still be waiting on that trademark, right? So I love that you got it. You're good to go. You can keep moving on and move forward. Sarah wasn't at last week's session, but she did attend a conference last week and learned some great things. Nice. What I love about conferences is how much you learn, but then it is that like putting it into action. So take some time, Sarah, to do that too this week. I love that. All right, here we go. Spark by example. Let's duplicate our momentum. Just like last week, we talked about belief is contagious. So is momentum. I don't know if you have experienced this, but I have different groups of people in my life. And I know if I'm going to go hang out with this one group, we're going to talk about how stuck we are. And we kind of almost like one up each other of like, oh, and then this happened. Oh, that happened for you. Well, wait till I tell you about this thing. And that group really does kind of stay stuck. Even if I try to like, okay, when we go get coffee, I'm going to talk about positive things only. sometimes because we're so rooted in what's not working, that's kind of where we stay. And so when I say momentum isn't just personal, it's contagious. It means you got to bring that momentum wherever you're going so that it can become contagious with the people that you're around. And by the end of this session today, we are going to talk about the people you hang out with or the people that you're connected with. And if they're not building momentum in their own lives and you're really trying to do that, you got to find a circle that's doing that. You got to find those people because once you start creating momentum, other people in your life, other people at your job, other people around you are going to taste that momentum from you and they're going to want more of it. But if you're not building it for yourself, you can't have it. And so you need to start with you and then bleed into other people so that they can see what's possible, which is exactly what we're going to get to today. We're going to investigate, we are going to cultivate some more beliefs, and we are going to transform. So let's jump in. Last session, Fuel the Flame, we talked all about this culture loop. And if you don't have your workbook page out, make sure you go get that printed. If you're watching the recording, pause the recording, go get this printed. You will want to see this physically on your page as you're working through it. So last week we talked about that your belief then shapes your actions and words. Your actions and words that you are consistently taking drive your experiences and your results. And then that reinforces your belief. This can be positive or this can be negative. One of my favorite stories to tell is about my first year principal. Very negative belief system. And I had a very negative belief system about my first year of teaching because of how my leader was acting and reacting. Fast forward 3 years into my teaching career, and my principal decides the summer before my third year of teaching, she's going to completely change her life. She goes and works on herself personally, professionally. She's making herself a better person. She shows up for my third year of teaching. And my best friend now it was her first year. So we got to experience this principal who I had experienced for 2 former years, and she was just meeting for the first time. And we got to see how her new belief and her actions and words and her experiences and results completely shifted the belief system within the school structure. So prior, she was a victim to many of the student behaviors, and you saw it. You could see it, how she carried herself, how she yelled down the hallway, how she worded things in staff meetings. It was like, we are all victims to these hoodlums, and I mean that in the most loving way. Third year, I come in and I'm like trying to get, my feet under me and create my own momentum, and she comes in and she's like, we have a purpose here. And we cannot be an incredible school without every single one of you. And then as she worked that year, she would point people out. Oh, and did you hear what Mrs. Vogt is doing? And did you hear what Miss Berner was doing? And oh, did you guys see what Mr. Ebling did in his hallway? And we were all like, what is happening? We are getting complimented. We are being appreciated. We are being rewarded for the hard work we're doing. And she kept saying, and all of this is going to make us a better school. Every action you're taking, it's going to make us a better school. So what did we see? We saw a reduction in negative student behaviors. We saw more achievement. We saw more kids signing up to be in student council and get involved. And that was because her belief kind of lit this new belief in us. And so I love thinking about this. Her new belief was, when we work together, we will create a dynamite place for our kids to learn. And then she really used her actions by assigning us. I remember that year she called me into her office. I was so nervous. It was end of August, and she's like, you're only on one committee. You are a leader. You are a natural leader. I need you on 2 more committees. Which would you like? And she literally was just like, here's the menu of committees. Which one do you want to be in? And that was, talk about taking action and using her words to truly build me up. So what did I do? As I'm her team, right? I had a new experience where someone believed in me. Somebody said, you are a natural leader. I was only 24 going into my 3rd year of teaching. So to hear that you are a natural leader, we need you in leadership positions, that sparked my new belief, which is, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can be a leader in this building. And so that new belief then shifted my own words, shifted my own actions, shifted how I showed up in staff meetings, shifted how I was talking to my kids, shifted what new results I got. And then it continued. And we saw that it reinforced my belief that I am a leader. It was wild. I mentioned my best friend now that she had her as her first year. And to this day, she'll say, my first year principal was my favorite principal I've ever had. And I think it's wild in comparison to my first year and her first year. We saw the same person, but the atmosphere and the energy and the culture was totally different. And we had different experiences and different results. However, what I love about this story is it was the same woman coming into my year three with a new set of beliefs, a new set of actions and words, and got a new set of experiences and results for herself, which then bled into all of us. And we truly, that third year of mine was probably my favorite year of teaching of all time, because we were all on fire. We were all excited. We were all ready to raise our hands in staff meetings because she was now willing to listen. She was now willing to take our suggestions and run with them, and then come back to a meeting and be like, hey, thank you to the sixth grade teachers who made this comment. We now went and fixed this issue, and because of them bringing this up, we now have this solution. And it was amazing. And so I really want you to realize that your beliefs matter, not just for yourself, but for you to create more momentum with the people around you and or the clients that you serve and or your teammates, or even up the ladder too, to your boss. You can spark a lot of momentum with other people. And so your spark multiplier, I want you to think about this idea. What spark do you want to create for others? Maybe last week you were sitting here, you had a new belief, right? That you believe in change, or Kylie's was even just believing in herself. Like, I believe in myself. And now I want Kylie to think about how can that spark belief in other ways. So for those of you who don't know, Kylie has authored a book. It is launching in the month of September. We are so excited for her. And I want her to really hear us all say that when you believe in yourself and what this book can do for others, others will believe it too. And when we go back to this graphic, if I can go back to this graphic, her belief and her actions and words and her results that she has gotten can spark a new belief in other people that maybe I can do this too. And that I could also transform my life and be on a brilliant life journey myself. And so, really thinking about what do you want to spark in others. That's what I'd like you to put in the top left corner of your brainstorm. Now, this 30-day plan, look how much space I gave you. I was like laughing at myself when I put this in, because if we want a 30-day plan, right? You want lots of space. I just want you to think about what are a couple actions you could do for the next 30 days. So just a couple bullets. What are some things you could do for the next 30 days so that you can share your spark, and then how will you pass this spark on? So I want you thinking about the spark you want to create. What can you do for 30 days? And then how will you pass this spark on, or maybe even to whom you will pass this spark on to? And then when you are ready, if you could share your spark in the chat, but I'll give you a couple minutes to think. All right, let's throw some sparks in the chat. What spark has been ignited in you? What are you really hoping to kind of bring to the group, bring to your people, your team? Like I said, even your leader, I think sometimes I get on coaching calls and I have leaders who are like, everything's going great, Anne, with my team. But I get into management meetings and I don't say a word and I don't feel like I'm heard and I don't feel like I'm able to lead. And so I've really worked with a couple of clients to show up with their spark, ready to go to impact people even above them or at their same level when they're in those management meetings. And their spark really needed to be like, I have value. Like, I have value to give, and I can help our organization solve problems. All right. I want to inspire people that change is possible. Yes, they can change their life. I think this is such a good one. Kylie wrote this, and there are so many people who just have tried change and didn't get the results as quick as they want. I'm the first one to raise my hand on this. And they just really do need that root belief of like change is possible. Your actions make a difference. Love that. Kylie, I'd love to know, how will you pass this spark on? Like, when you think about what are some actions you can take to truly have them believe that, I would love to know what your actions are. Sarah said, motivate others on the team, 30 days, provide positive feedback, give kudos, pass it on. A little harder to answer. Thank you for your honesty, Sarah. Encourage others to lift others up on the team. Yes, and you are the perfect model for that. So I love that you wrote, like, encourage others to lift other people, but do it in a way where they are seeing you do it. They're seeing that it's not weird, it's not hard. It's actually something that they enjoy receiving. And so that passing it on can really work for them. I love that. I once was talking with a company of mostly men in manufacturing, and the overall executive director said, I'm going to start putting a shout out of our employees in the newsletter. And he was so excited to share this. And there's a table of 12 individuals around the table. And almost all of them drop eye contact with him and look down. And they're like writing stuff, or they're just ignoring that this was said. And he was a CEO, not an executive director. The CEO was just so excited. He's like, I just really think there's some awesome things happening here. And I really want to make sure people know how good, that our teams are and things like that. So I watch everybody's eyes drop and I say, time out real quick, CEO, before you keep going. Can somebody give me some feedback? How do you think the people on in the shop will react to having a shout out in the newsletter? And luckily, one of them said, I don't know that that's going to go over well. And we had a great conversation about some people just love that face to face, one on one. Hey, thank you for doing this. That was really great. I love what you're up to. Or, man, your efficiency numbers, whatever it is. And then asking for permission. Can I tell the team about this? Can I put you in the newsletter? And then respecting their responses. But it was so interesting because here was the CEO thinking, this is going to be so great. And then everybody else saying, wait, 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 wait. They do need appreciation. They need to know they're doing great. We need to be saying more to them that they're doing great, but be careful in how that's presented. And so I love that you're like, encourage the team to do this and really showcase what that looks like when you're doing it. I think that's huge. Kylie also shared, right now we're creating videos on YouTube, posting on all social media. We are also promoting the book, interviewing guests on our podcast, and connecting with other inspiring people. And so that is fueling her spark that will hopefully then transform to others. A month. She says her book comes out in a month. Look for it. Is it Our Beautiful Life Journey? A Beautiful Life Journey. I'm going to clarify because you guys, this book is so great. A More Brilliant Life. Journey is all in their YouTube. A More Brilliant Life is the title of the book. I'm excited for that. All right, let's keep her moving. cultivating. So this goes right to those actions of how will you pass it on? And then how will you continue to keep your spark? I think this is part of, I love that Sarah mentioned she went to a workshop last week. Sometimes we get really inspired when we're at events or we're on these calls or we're at conferences. How can you make sure to keep that spark going? And that really is about taking action and or surrounding yourself with other people who are also taking action on what you learned. And so I call this your spark squad. I just love this idea of fire and ignite and all that good stuff. So, Spark Squad, people who challenge, inspire, and hold you accountable. I want you to think about, I know that a couple of you work in the same location. And so, how will you connect with this individual? What actions can you take to keep what you're learning in these sessions alive and or keep what you're learning in your professional world in general alive? Some of us have some natural partners in crime in the office, and others of us do not. I know there's a few people that have been on these webinars that they are a lone wolf in their leadership community within their company. And so I really wanted to give some ideas on how you can connect with other people to keep your spark alive. Because when we put ourselves in a box and we kind of shut ourselves in, it's really hard to keep the fire going, right? And so, how can we utilize the energy and the momentum of other people as well as creating our own momentum? So, I wrote leaders around you, look for mentors. I think it is the biggest compliment when you can go to someone who's above you in leadership and say, hey, I love how you treat your team. I really look to how you engage with your team for how I can engage with mine. I'd love some tips, pointers. Can we meet once a month? Somehow find that mentor for you. Natural leaders or leaders, people who lead, want to help others. It is a part of the definition, in my opinion, is that they want to serve other people. And so asking them to mentor you is a way to A, give them a compliment that you really like how they do things, but also ask for that help and assistance. And I think that's important. Professional connections. So not everybody has mentors in their workplace. Maybe you don't see eye to eye with your management team or your leadership team. And so look to grow your network. I recently joined National Speakers Association because there's not a lot of speakers around where I am in southern Minnesota. So I wanted to find ways to have some personal and professional connections with other people who are doing what I'm doing so that I can continue to build my network and ask them questions and really learn and grow from them as well. So if you don't have any mentors kind of in-house, is there a way for you to get connected to an organization that will be full of leaders that can help you or people who've already been in your shoes that you can ask questions to and kind of continue to learn from? And then professional organizations supporting your growth, very similarly with the National Speakers Association. They have trainings and leadership events for me to support my own growth. Are there other organizations for you that you can kind of continue to sharpen your skills in sales or your skills in communication? So look for those, seek those out. We've got something for you as well. So within our organization, we've got the Leader Collaboratory Cohort. I am so excited for this. In the past, we've done some Lead with Impact cohorts, and they have been incredible. But we really realized that there needs to be this collaboratory, this part of the cohort where everybody is kind of working together. So we've created something new, and the first cohort is launching in September. And so I'll share more about that here in a little bit, but it's a way for you to grow your skills and collaborate with other leaders at the same time. Another way I think that's really shaped my journey and how I've overcome a lot of challenges is through having a life or business coach. I mentioned my life coach here on this call. She really helped me when I was just like digging myself into a hole. She was like, hey there, here's a ladder. Let's get out of that hole. Let's bury the hole and let's move forward. And so if you are finding yourself feeling stuck, feeling overwhelmed, we've talked about that on a couple of these webinars as well, that there's a few of you that are feeling really overwhelmed. You're trying to do your own work really well, and you're trying to lead other people at the same time. Maybe a life or business coach could be an option for you. What I loved about it is there's weekly accountability. This is what we've also built into the Leader Collaboratory, because so often we go to stuff and we get really excited about it and we say we're going to do it and we do it for 1 week and we're like, yes, Tuesday through Friday, I did the things that I said I was going to do. And then the following week comes around and we're like, well, I could go do that thing, but I also have like 7 other things on the agenda that I probably need to get to. And so by having some weekly accountability with a business coach or a life coach, or even within the Leader Collaboratory, the whole idea is you can hit that reset button once a week. So if you did do the thing week one, you're reminded to do the thing week two. Or if you said you were going to do the thing week one and your life blew up and you got to Friday and you were like, I didn't get anything done that I said I was going to do, that's okay. We hit the reset button the following week. And so that weekly accountability is awesome. Also, when you can personally feel consistent, I feel like that's how you keep your spark, is when you can consistently be doing something, you're going to be fanning that flame and growing that flame throughout your time, whether that be an 8 week coaching program or a year-long coaching program. But these are things I've found to really keep my spark going. I can tell you right now that the years or the months that I have felt stuck, it's because I wasn't doing any of these things. January, February, March of this year was, I don't know, it was like an out of body experience. I could not find momentum. I could not find growth. I was feeling sorry for myself. I was feeling stuck. I was feeling victimized. It was odd. And I just remember getting to March and being like, who am I hanging out with? What am I learning from? Why have I stopped walking? Why did I stop listening to podcasts? Like I literally snuffed out my spark on my own. And I needed to take ownership for that and really set myself kind of up for success in April through now. So it's okay if you're going through it. Here with you. Like it happens. But it's okay to recognize that. It's not okay to keep it snuffed out, right? Relight it and get going again. One thing I want you to think about is what we just got done with there. Like, what's in your way? Take a little reflection. I did not include this on your workbook. I added this right before this call because I thought, man, we've been really positive in all of these calls. We've been talking a lot about like, what are you going to do next? And what kind of momentum can you create? And we haven't really stopped too much to reflect on what might be in your way right now. As you're listening to this, you're like, Anne, this is really great, but, and you don't have to put it in the chat. I just kind of want you thinking like, what is in your way? In one of the previous calls, one of you on here kind of said, I'm in my way. Like I'm the one causing a lot of these issues. And that's okay to recognize and reflect on right now. Again, we just don't want to stay there. And so I just wanted you to take 30 seconds. I'll be quiet here for you to just think about what are some things in your way that you might just have to like nudge them over, get them out of your way, set them aside, or push them forward so that you can keep moving for yourself. So quick reflection on that. If you wanted to throw it in the chat, I'm not against it. I just know that some people kind of want to keep their stuff private. But if there is something in your way, I'm here for it. I'm here to help you around it. But I do think that there is sometimes, I really wish I could do blank, but just today I had an email come through and somebody said, hey, do you got time to meet on Friday? And I was like, can I just get through the next 2 weeks with my kids home? And can we do early September? And I just realized like I was putting that in my way, that this time of year is stressful when really I've got one meeting on my calendar for Friday. I very easily could fit that in. And so I found myself getting in the way and saying, oh, this is such a stressful time, when in reality, I'm putting that in front of me, not anybody else. So to talk about getting out of your own way and really thinking of this, I'm gonna share this because I think it's really important. If you've been on these webinars, you've been on these calls, you've been doing the workbooks and the worksheets, we got so much more for you. These 4 sessions were just kind of the tip of the iceberg, giving you a taste of what kind of impact can these programs have on me. And so I wanted you to be able to feel some movement, feel some momentum, gain some skills, have a little bit of live coaching so that you can step into the leadership journey that you need If you are looking for something, or if you know there are other people in your office that are looking for something, I do want to share that the Leader Collaboratory cohort is launching this September. It's going to launch the last week of September. Originally, we were going to launch the first week of September, and we really recognize that in a season when there's so much change in August, let's let people breathe and be excited and be confident in what they're walking into. And so the Leader Collaboratory is the cohort is an online course. It's just like what you experienced, except there's a little bit more. There is a training that is sent out once a week. You watch that on your own time. And then there's a live coaching call once a week for a full hour, if not more, if more time is needed. But the whole goal is that you're able to soak in the information, fill out the workbook that coincides, and all of the information is different than what you've experienced on these calls. So the content is different, although there's little tastes that you just experienced. But really, the goal is for you to clearly communicate, figure out what you want, figure out how to get what you want so that you can truly show up as the leader that you need to be for the people that you are leading. So I help you overcome leadership challenges. We've got super practical solutions. I was just talking about it yesterday with somebody, and they were asking for some feedback. And I said, ooh, hey, go do this, this, and this. I'll tell you why it works when you join the collaboratory, but trust me, it works. Go do this task. And she was just like, I love that. Like, you know why things work. You've actually done the research to figure out why they work. But instead of you bombing me with that, you're like, go do it. Let it work for you. And then I'll tell you why later, like why that's important and why you should keep doing it that way. And so I do love that everything is backed up by evidence of how to communicate in a way that gets people excited, that starts to build belief and momentum. We talk about increasing engagement with others and motivation, really helping other people feel confident and yourself at the same time, and create an environment people want to work in. So a little bit about it. It's 8 weeks long. So we start the last week of September. We wrap up right before the week of Thanksgiving. So really trying to utilize that time between, school starting if you're a parent and Thanksgiving when the holiday kind of kicks in. What I like to say is by the end of these 8 weeks, you're going to feel so good that the holidays are not going to be that stressful time because you're going to have really sharpened and honed in on your mindset and what you bring to the table. But so it's 8 weeks, interactive training plus weekly coaching calls. We have check-ins twice a week. So every Monday, you're going to check in and say, here's what I'm working on this week. Here's what I want to hold myself accountable for. And every Friday, you're going to be asked, how'd it go? I think that's really important for me. Like I said, I get overwhelmed with the tasks, the week, things kind of start to flow, and having that 2 check-ins a week just for me to say, ooh, I did this, this, and this, but man, totally forgot to appreciate any of my teammates this week, or totally forgot to have that meeting that I said I was going to have. And that's okay. The goal is not to catch you in what you're not doing. The goal is just to keep you moving and hold you accountable for what you want to do. That's what's great is this program is for anyone who's wanting to sharpen their skills, and you get to really apply it to who you are and who you work with. On-demand feedback and support. You are able to communicate with me the whole 8 weeks to answer questions, help you through a sticky situation. Maybe you try to do something on a Tuesday and you run into an email back that you are not expecting a response like that, and you forward it to me and we work through like how you can smooth over that situation and move forward with clear communication. You get access to all of the training. So in the past, I have just dripped videos once a week, and there are some of you that are like, show me all the videos, give me all the knowledge right away. I want to take it in. I want to get to problem solve. I want to get to cultivate. So that is something new that I'm doing this time. Is I'm going to release all of the information to you so that you can really chew on it when it works for you. And some of you have time where you're traveling and you're like, I want to consume as much as I can, and I want to have that opportunity for you. Following the cohort, this is something new I've never done before, but typically, you guys know you're in something and you're feeling that movement and it feels really good and you're learning a lot and you're trying new things and you're seeing a change. And then the program ends. And then it really is up to you to keep that momentum going. Now, I'm hopeful that you're going to get those skills in those 8 weeks. But I also know that ongoing support is super helpful to just keep you in it, keep you reminded of it, keep you excited and moving that momentum. And so there will be a network, the Leader Collaboratory Network, that comes after the cohort. And you'll get 1 month of that for free. So that was a lot. Yes, it feels a little sales pitchy, but if you don't have the information, it's really hard to make a confident decision. And so I wanted to make sure I delivered that for you today. On the bottom of your workbook, you can kind of see what you'll gain. So practical tools, we really work on your mindset for the first 2 weeks. Strategic focus, you're able to apply everything to exactly what you need when you need it. And then there's this community of leaders that are really rooting for you at the same time. Also, the main goal of all of this as a leader is I know you want to improve retention because there are a lot of you right now struggling with employees leaving a lot and often. And so, how can we create an environment people want to stay in and really truly create a morale where everyone is thriving? And then, obviously, that accountability. It's so easy to get lost in all of your work. And so, having that accountability is super important. You will be getting an email. Anybody who has watched the webinars and or signed up for the webinars, you will be getting an email next week with all the information, cost. You'll have a reduced rate. We're only doing that for the people who were on this webinar. We thought, what could we give out as a thank you to being on these calls and really truly start to move that needle and get moving in your momentum. And so there will be a discount to all of you that are webinar participants. And that'll be delivered to your inbox with all the information. But feel free to ask me any questions at any time. Truly here to help you kind of continue on your journey. Also thinking about other coworkers that you have or other people in your networks that you're like, this is something they've been begging for. I recently had a county in Minnesota reach out to me and say, did you know that our counties don't have any leadership training? So when someone gets moved into a county leadership position, they're just supposed to like figure it out. So that's here in the state of Minnesota. And they said, we need help. We've got all these new leaders that have just been promoted from within. They don't have leadership experience. They know their job, but they don't know how to lead their teams. And so I'm working with a few of them coming up here this fall because they said, we need help and we don't know where to go. And Minnesota doesn't provide us with any leadership training in that way. So I hear you. I'm here to create something that is solving that problem for you. All right, let's keep rocking. The best news. Here's what I like to say at the end of all of my presentations. Like, the best news here is you're in control. You are in full control of your beliefs, your actions, your words, and your momentum. Sometimes the worst news is also that you're in full control of your beliefs, of your actions, of your words, and of your momentum. Like, that's the worst news because you're like, no, 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 Anne, I just want to blame it on somebody else. The reason I'm not feeling momentum is because of them, and them. And so I need you to flip that script and be like, the best news is that I'm in full control. And so as you think about the last 4 weeks, any of the content from today or in the past, I really want you to just take a moment and reflect. What if this works? What if you create that spark and truly create a culture where your people want to be? They're motivated, they're engaged, they're problem solving without you having to be there. They are excited to do their jobs. They're serving your clients really, really well. What does that feel like? And so answer this question for me. I'll give you about a minute. What if it works? What's the vision? What's the impact that you create by going all in on your beliefs and your actions and your words? All right. Any of you willing to share? What if this works? What do you gain? And you can put it in the chat or you can unmute. I would just love to know. Okay, so Kylie, just full on goosebumps up my arms. Kylie wrote, our New York Times best-selling book helps thousands of people change their lives from feeling stuck to freedom. Oh, so beautiful. So beautiful. I'm going to back up. Sorry, I just realized my screen was on the wrong one. That's so amazing. I think that is right, the vision. And if you fall short of that, it's still thousands of people's lives change, hundreds of people's lives change, 10 people's lives change, one person's life changes. Like it is so beautiful to think about what you're creating by putting your story out there. It is awesome. So good. All right. My challenge for you going forward is continue taking action to build momentum today to grow it through this next season. So, quarter 4 is on the horizon. I know we're still about a month away, but some people talk business in quarters, other people talk seasons, right? Going into the fall. I'm just thinking, how can you continue to take action? You wrote some things down today, you wrote down that 30-day plan, some of those bullets and really thinking about, man, if I go take these actions today, what does it feel like later? Going back to Kylie saying, I trademarked something and our trademark finally came back. If she wouldn't have taken that action when she did, she would not have that today. If you don't take action today to set your team up for success, you do not have a successful, thriving, growing team by the end of the fall. And yet there is a possibility for that. So my challenge for you is just continue to build momentum. I just want to say thank you before we go. This has been awesome. There are so many great things happening. I know some of you have messaged me and emailed me. I wanted to give a quick shout out. I had someone from last week's call say that they went to their new administrative assistant. So they have a new administrative assistant. She's older. And this individual, the assistant was asking questions. And someone from these calls said to her, hey, I trust that I trust you to get to do all that. Like I trust you'll ask me questions if you need me. And this administrator started crying and was like, I have worked for so many people and no one has ever said they trust me to just do my job well. And so I just want you thinking about taking these actions and what kind of impact you can make. If you are interested in continuing to grow in this way and you're looking for more ways to stay connected, we do have culture coaching over here. And the What If It Works podcast. If you're like, I want to hear more about certain topics, go to the podcast. You can go to anvote.com and the podcast is linked at the top. Our leader collaboratory cohort, watch your emails. You will be getting information on that. And that is, again, an 8-week program for you to really dive in on who you need to be, what actions you need to take, and for you to actually see those actions come to fruition during that cohort. This is not like, learn this information for 8 weeks and then we'll hopefully see some results. You're going to be seeing results week to week. It is just such an immersive program that you're going to be able to feel that momentum grow. If you're looking for options to have someone come in, I do keynote speaking as well as leadership training and workshop sessions. Feel free to shoot me an email at impact@anvote.com so that we can stay connected. If you've got any questions, I'm here to help. And you are now on my Impact Community newsletter, so you'll be seeing things from me there. If you are watching the replay, thank you so much. You are one of the 25% who watches the replay. I hope you printed the workbook and got all of that done. I am going to ask those still on the call to stay on the call, but I am going to hit stop on the recording. Thank you so much for those of you who have watched, and we will see you soon.